How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to an episode here on Let's Build Twitter. As always, I'm Ethan, a running coder, your favorite underqualified senior software engineer. And today we're going to continue working on the front end here, and we're going to lay the groundwork for a very important front end feature, which is being able to click on the tweet or the post and then open it up. But before we do that, I said we do have to lay some groundwork, and we're going to go ahead and refactor some stuff inside of post and get things more modular and more reusable. That way, whenever we click on this, we can go and reuse a bunch of components from the post rather than starting completely from scratch. So with that being said, let's go and hop into our code and get to work. Again, bear with me, this one might be all over the place. So back inside of our code, we are inside the post. We're going to start out by scrolling down and finding where our create view is, and we're going to go ahead and rename it to batch view, just because that's going to go ahead and match what it's actually doing a little bit better. So let me go ahead and scroll down and find that. Here we are. So instead of create view, we're going to go ahead and call this batch view, and then this is of course going to cause an issue over here, so let's go ahead and make this batch view as well. So go ahead and say batch view, and that should fix that up, and that's going to go ahead and clean that up quite a bit. Next, let's go ahead and just set up the post to be able to actually navigate to where we want. Again, we don't have this page yet, but we'll do it in a little bit. So const open, whoops, actually I want to make this up here, my bad. So say const open post is equal to an arrow function, and inside the arrow function we'll say navigate, and we'll go ahead and navigate to backticks slash post slash $ curly brace post dot post id. So go ahead and navigate to that. Again, we'll set up this page in the next episode, and then inside of our post component itself, we want to be able to click on it. So then what we want to go ahead and do is inside of our div here, we want to go and say on click. So whenever we click on the post, we want to go ahead and say open post. So now whenever we go ahead and click on the post, it'll take us to that page. Obviously it doesn't exist right now, so it's not going to work, so we're not going to try it, but it is what it is. And then one final thing that I want to do before we get into some actual changes, let's go ahead and go to the CSS for post, and inside of here, inside the body wrapper, we're going to add a padding top to this. I don't remember why, but I think it's just made it look a little bit better. So padding top 8px, like so. Save that, and we're good. So now we're going to go ahead and actually get into some of the more fun stuff. I'm going to go ahead and open up our Explorer, and inside of our hooks here, I'm going to go ahead and say I'm going to say use post actions.ts. We're going to make a new hook, and inside here, let's go ahead and bring in a few things. So first we need to import use selector. So use selector. We also need to go ahead and bring in use dispatch. So let's go ahead and bring in both of those. Then we also need to go ahead and import our set current post. We also need to go ahead and bring an update post, which should both exist inside the feeds list, so that's great. Then we need to import our update display, create reply, okay. And then we also need to bring in our post or bookmark maybe post. We need to bring in our like post, we need to bring in our repost post, and we need to bring in our view post. And then we just need one more thing. We need our post and user from our interface. So import post and make sure it comes from global interfaces. So this one says interface. There we go. We also need our user. So what this is going to do is this is going to go ahead and bring out all of the different actions that we do inside of our post component and other components that are similar to post, and bring it into one place. That way we can bring in all those actions separately. So we're going to say export function and use post actions, like so. And inside of a basically inside of an action or inside of a hook, you can use other hooks and things like that. So say const token is equal to use selector, and then in here we'll say state root state, and pass in state.user.token. Cool. And I'll also say const logged in equal to use selector, maybe selector state root state, and here will be state.user.logged in. And finally we'll say const dispatch is a app dispatch, and this will be equal to, I think we missed that because it looks like it just imported it. It is what it is, equal to use dispatch. So now we're going to go ahead and bring in some stuff. And it's mad at us because we're not using any of this. And I guess we didn't bring in root state. So let's go ahead and bring in root state really quick. There we go. Cool. So let's go back into our post and grab a few things here. Inside of post, we basically want to bring in all of the stuff for creating like bookmarks, likes, views, things like that. I guess not views. So we're going to go ahead and grab this create repost. So let's go ahead and copy this. We're going to go ahead and bring create like. We're going to go ahead and grab create bookmark, and batch view can stay. So we're going to go ahead. I'm just going to delete this. It's going to get mad at us for a sec. That's perfectly fine. Let's go back into that use post actions. Inside of our use post actions, I'm just going to paste it in, space CF, and save that. Now there might be a little bit of stuff we have to do here. So now what we're going to go ahead and do is inside of here, we're going to go ahead and pass a post like so, and same thing in create like. So let's go ahead and bring post inside of create bookmark. We'll bring in post. Whoops, and let me do this properly. There we go, and save that. So now we have all of that, and now we do need a couple other things. I don't remember where toggle reply comes from, so once we get to that point, we'll go ahead and delete it and bring in what we need. But above this, we're going to go ahead and say const toggle reply is equal to, and we'll pass in a post like so. And here we will dispatch, and we will dispatch set current post, and we'll go ahead and set that to the post that we pass in. We'll also dispatch update, and then display create reply, and then this will just set to true. So again, I think this might be inside the action bar that we work on a little bit later on. So we'll fix that whenever we get there. And we're going to do one more thing. We're going to go ahead and still create a single view. So again, this one, I don't know if we end up using this one or not here soon, just because there is an issue with views that we need to address a little bit later on. We don't really have a way to account for unlogged in people, because you can technically view a post when you're not logged in. We need to figure out how to deal with that, but we're still going to go ahead and create single view, because we will need this later anyway. Equal to post, do our arrow function, and here we'll say let updated post equal to json.parse, and then we'll say json.stringify to basically make a copy of our original post, which we probably don't need to do anymore because we're going to be passing this in as into the function, but it is what it is. We'll say if logged in and not post.views.sum, pass in user, and I might have too much stuff here, I'm not sure. User.user_id is equal to, if I could type, logged in.user_id. So if it's not in that, we'll go ahead and say let views equal to ... post.views, comma, logged in. I don't remember if we still have this somewhere or not. We'll have to look for it. We'll say updated updated post equal to, and ... updated post, pass in those new views. And what is the issue here? Let's see, we need another ampersand. Go ahead and fix that. There we go, cool. And then outside of the if, actually no, we're still inside the if, but outside of updating the post, we'll say dispatch, and we will dispatch update post, and then we'll go ahead and say updated post, and we will dispatch, view post, and we'll pass in the post ID as post.postID, and we will take in the token like so. And I misspelled view post, of course I did. There we go. So there's that. Now we just need to go ahead and return all of these different functions basically. So we'll say toggle reply, we'll say create repost, we'll say create like, create bookmark, and create single view. Again, I don't know if we use create single view right away, but it is what it is. And I'm sure things are absolutely broken if we look at our application. Interesting, it's not. Is it actually not broken? Interesting. So I would have imagine that it was completely broken, but I guess not. That's good to go. Now we're going to go ahead and do some work by creating a new component called post content. And let's go back into post so I can kind of show you what I'm talking about here. Let's scroll back down. So here we have this section here called post content, and it kind of just wraps together some of the content and some other stuff, including the images and some maybe reply to. So we're going to go ahead and kind of put this all together. That way, whenever we want to reuse this content, we can. Let's go ahead, and now it is complaining because of create repost, but we're going to also move this post action stuff, so I'm not going to worry about it right now. Let's go ahead and open up our Explorer, and let's go ahead and inside of components, let's go ahead and create a post content folder, and then post content.tsx like so. Let's go ahead and first get rid of that, and then we'll go ahead and import React from React like we do, and then we'll go ahead and export const post content react.function component, and we will have some props there, so we'll deal with that in a second. But for now, let's just go ahead and return, and let's return, I guess, a div for this. So let's go ahead and set up our interface. So actually we don't need an interface because we're just going to go ahead and do it the old fashioned way. This is just going to have a post inside of it, and then we're going to go ahead and break apart that post. Of course, it's going to complain about it because we don't do it, but that's fine. So what we're going to go ahead and do is in here, we're going to go ahead and say const post image container is equal to use memo. Again, we'll track down where this use memo originally is and delete it, but we'll say create post image container. We'll pass in the post.images, and we'll watch for the post.post ID. So that will come in handy in a little bit. And let's go ahead and import our use memo. We'll go ahead and fix this so that it is now a comma. And let's go ahead and bring in post from our global interfaces. So now that's the groundwork. So let's go back into post and grab what I want to put in here. Now inside of post, we're going to basically grab everything inside of here. So post content, we're going to grab all of this stuff, and we're also going to grab the reply to as well. Let's go ahead and just delete this. Let's go and save. Of course, this is going to be mad at us. Let's go back into our post content. Inside post content, we'll go ahead and just paste this space CF to fix that up. And it's mad at us, but that's fine because we need to go ahead and import this convert. It won't let us though. I don't remember where this comes from. So let's just go ahead and import this, I guess. So import convert, and then this is post content to elements. Okay, that's fine. We can go and try to import this from React. Cool. Let's see what's going on here. And now it's mad at us because we don't have a wrapper. So what we'll go ahead and do is at the bottom of this, we're going to go ahead and pass another div, and we need to do a little bit of work here. And then inside of this convert post blah 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 stuff, we're going to go ahead and make another div with a class name equal to post dash content dash text dash wrapper like so. And then we're going to go ahead and bring the text in here. I believe it's just the text. Yep. So let's go ahead and bring this text in here. So let's go ahead and delete that. Go ahead and paste it in there. And then we're going to go ahead and delete this extra div. And that should fix this. And now what we need to go ahead and do is bring in reply. So go ahead and say space CF and bring in reply. And then what we need to go ahead and do is do like one last thing. So instead of feed post.post.images, this is going to be post.images.length. And then this will be post.reply to. And then this part, I don't understand what's going on here. There's something funky going on, but we're just going to say type of post.reply to. I don't know why it doesn't see it, but it is what it is not equal to a number. We had a bug going on that we need to fix, so that's why that's there. And let's see, reply to, what is our issue now? Declare property reply to. It should exist on a post. Let's go ahead and check out our post and see what's going on here. Oh, because it's from the feed post. Interesting. I might add this already. I didn't know that I'd added it already. So what we're going to go ahead and do is under replies, or above replies maybe, we're going to go ahead and say reply to ? And this will be a post, or no, I knew that we changed this at some point, but I didn't remember when we had changed it. So let's go ahead and fix that. Let's go back into our post content. So now reply to should exist. And let's see here. So if post.reply to and type of, it's because we want this like so. There we go. And then this one is mad because it needs to be post.reply to. And now we need to fix our return statement. And there we go. So now our post content is theoretically working. We do need to go ahead and do the CSS. So some of the CSS is going to be already inside of our post, but I'll just go through and delete it probably at the end. Let's go ahead and open up our Explorer and make a new post content.css and then space E. So this is really simple. So that's why I'm not concerned about it. So post content is just going to be width 100%. And then our height will be fit dash content. We'll have a margin of 0 and a padding of 0. And then our post dash content dash text dash wrapper. Also very simple. Height will once again be fit dash content, maybe. Fit content. Width will once again be 100%. And then margin will be 0. Padding will be 0. And margin dash bottom, we will add 8px, like so. And then let's go ahead and go into our post.css just so I don't forget. And we need to find post content. So let's scroll down until we find post content. Here we are. Let's go ahead and just get rid of this. Delete that, save that, and let's go back into post.tsx. Now inside of post.tsx, what we can go and do is we can bring in our post content. So post content, we'll need to bring in post is equal to feed post.post. Like so. And right now we can't see anything. It's going to be broken because of all these errors, but we can at least try to look. Yep. So unfortunately we can't take a look yet, but what we'll go ahead and do is we'll go ahead and create our post action bar, and then that'll fix up a lot of our issues. So let's go back into our Explorer and we're going to go ahead and get rid of this, get rid of that. Let's go ahead and say a post action bar slash post action bar.tsx. Okay, get rid of that. And let's just go ahead and do a couple things. So this will import React from maybe React. And then we are going to go ahead and set up an interface. So interface, and this will be post action bar props. And inside of our props, we'll have a post, which is a post. Let's go ahead and import that. And we'll also have is individual, which will come in handy a little bit later on, and you'll see why. And then let's just go ahead and export const post action bar, which is a react.fc, and this will bring in our post action bar props like so, equal to this. Go ahead and break it apart. Post and is individual, maybe. It's a hard one. There we go. And then it's going to be mad at us for a sec, but that is fine. I guess we could just quickly, go ahead and return. And let's just set a div here just so it's happy. And what's our issue? Export const. I think I accidentally added an extra and I misspelled this. Whoops, I did it again. So now we need to go back into post, and we're going to copy and paste a lot of stuff out of post. Like I said, we're going to clean up post quite a bit this episode. Go back into our post, and before we grab any of the HTML, scroll to the top here. So we're going to go ahead and we can delete this guy. We're going to go ahead and grab our colors. We're going to go ahead and grab our update hover colors as well. And I also think reset colors. Let's go ahead and grab all of this, and I'll double check all of this stuff in a sec. Let's go back to post action bar. Let's go ahead and paste it in, space CF, and then let's go ahead and just start entering things. So do this and update that. Hover colors, we might need to create as an interface. So we can grab that in a sec. Update hover colors. I guess we also missed a state, and reset colors. It's just not used. Okay, that's fine. So we need to grab, I guess, the interface, and then also update hover colors. So let's go back into post. So here's our hover colors. Let's grab that. Go back into post actions. Well, let's go ahead and bring in our hover colors, and then let's see here. Update hover colors is fine, and that is fine. So that is everything out of post for like that stuff. Now let's grab the CSS. Again, we might do a little bit of work with the CSS, we'll see, or it might just go straight in. I don't know. Let's go back to our post. We're going to go scroll down here, and now we can grab our post action. So let's go ahead and grab this all the way down to, I don't know exactly where to. Let's just try to match up this div as best as we can. Looks like here. Go ahead and delete that, save that. And now this should be working again. But let's go back to our post action bar. And then we can go ahead and get rid of this and go ahead and paste that in. So now we need to import a bunch of stuff, which is fun. And we also need to fix convert count. And we also need to fix a couple other things. So let's go ahead and space CA and try to import all of this stuff. Okay. Import this guy. Whoops. Space CA to import this guy. Maybe. Add the import. Space CA to add the import, space CA to add the import, and then space CA to add the import. And then now convert count. I think what we go and do is we go into post. So again, this is probably going to kill a couple of things that I had planned for other stuff, but convert count now. Let's see. We're going to take convert count. Let's go ahead and copy this guy, get rid of him. And then we're going to go into our post utils. So I don't remember what I called this. So I'm just going to go into utils here, post utils. And then we're going to go ahead and bring in this in there as well, and that should be perfectly fine. Save that. Let's go back to our post action bar, and then let's go ahead and import this convert count. So come over here and do one of these. So go ahead, CA, and then I guess it won't let us import it. So let's just go up here again and import this. So import convert count from // go back to utils / post utils, and maybe I didn't export it. Let's go back to post utils. I did not. Let's go ahead and make sure we export this. Export const. All right, so now we can go back to our action again, and inside of a post action bar, there's like one more big thing that we have to do, and that is to be able to actually call all of those like on click things that actually do the work. So to do that, we need to do one last thing that wasn't included inside of our post because we hadn't gotten there yet, which is const toggle reply. We need to say create repost. We need to say create like. We need to say create bookmark. And this is going to come from use post actions. So now what we need to go and do is come down here to all of these. And now I don't remember if I set up a new function for these or if I just straight up call them. Let me double check. Yeah, so now because we have to pass in data, we're going to go ahead and do one of these. And this might get a little bit messy here. I'm sorry. So we're going to go ahead and make a function that goes ahead and calls this. And we're going to go ahead and pass in the post. So there's toggle reply. So now on create repost, we do the same thing. We need to pass in a post. So go ahead and pass in a post like so. Same thing with create like. Go ahead and turn this into a function and then pass in a post. And then reset colors is fine. Let's see, views, that's fine. Create bookmark. Let's go ahead and fix up create bookmark, call it with a post. And I think that is everything. Share does something else. So let's go ahead and save that. That should fix up all of that. And now we need to do CSS as well. This one I am going to go ahead and yoink straight from the post because there's a lot more CSS in this and there's a lot more CSS to get rid of. So let's go ahead and space E, go ahead and say post action bar.css. Also, I think I forgot to bring in the CSS on our post content. So let's go ahead and actually import that CSS really quick before I completely forget and it doesn't work. So import /post content.css. Okay, and let's go back to our post action. And then here, let's go back into post.css, and we want all the stuff of post action bar group, blue wrapper, post action bar repost, all of this stuff, post action bar, right? And I think that's everything. Let's go back into post action bar CSS and paste it in there, save it, go back into our post action bar, and let's go ahead and import the CSS so I don't forget. Once again, import /post action bar.css. I believe that should be everything for that. Now, of course, we need to go ahead and bring in that into our actual post. So now let's scroll down here and we can also get rid of this guy. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of anything we're not using. We're not using that. Now let's go down to where our old post action bar was right here. Go ahead and say post action bar, import it. So here, what we're going to we're going to have post is equal to feed post.post, and honestly we could just use post here is individual will equal to false because it's not going to be an individually open post. Save. And now theoretically, if we open up the app, hopefully everything's working. I must have spelled post. I did. Let's fix that. Make sure you spell post content.css right. There we go. And I obviously broke something. Oh, I clicked on it. Okay. So I added, there's an extra parenthesis somewhere right here. So let's get rid of that. And let's take one last look. There we go. Cool. So that's good to go. So now we're going to go ahead and refactor just a couple more things here, and then we'll be good to go. And then we'll be ready for the next episode. I know this one's getting a little bit long here. So next, let's go ahead and update our create post text area. So let's go back into our code. Let's go ahead and search up a create post text area. And inside a create post text area, we're going to go ahead and add a placeholder because we need that for the reply later on. So we're going to go ahead and say placeholder. And I guess I just do it like this. Placeholder is a string, and we're going to need to update this in a couple places so it doesn't break. Let's go ahead and bring in our placeholder here. So placeholder like so. And then let's go ahead and scroll down to where the actual text area is. Now inside of our text area, instead of just saying what's happening, we're going to go ahead and make this more dynamic. We're going to go ahead and pass in our placeholder like so. Now this is going to break in a couple places. So let's go back to our feed post creator and update it there. So inside of our feed post creator, if we scroll down, we should see a bunch of issues. Okay, here we go. So now we need to go ahead and add in the placeholder, and we'll just go ahead and set this to what is happening. So it's kind of like the default, and this is question mark exclamation. Well, that should fix that. And we need to also go into create reply body. Okay, and this is once again the same issue. So let's go down to wherever we have the create post text area. And again, we need to go ahead and add the placeholder. Here, our placeholder will equal to post, your reply. So that fixes that. And we're going to do one last thing. We're going to go into our create post button cluster. And then here, we're going to go ahead and add an interface. So interface, maybe. Interface and create post button cluster props. And again, this is going to be type string. And we're going to pass this in to our create button cluster. And this is again going to be to see whether it's like a regular post, a reply, whatever. And this is going to be for later on. We're kind of just laying the groundwork right now. So we're going to go ahead and say, whoops. I don't know what happened there. Create post button cluster props. Go ahead and bring in the type. So now what we're going to go and do is we're going to go into determine full, and this is going to be a little bit messy. So inside determine full, we're still going to keep if length equal to 4 true. We're still going to go ahead and keep if post.currentPost images is equal to type GIF true. We're going to add one more thing because I had another bug here that was kind of annoying to deal with. So inside of an if, we're going to say state.post.current reply and state.post.current reply images.length is greater than 0. Okay, we're going to say or, we're going to say state.post.current post and state.post.current and post.images.length greater than 0. So if that's the case, we're going to return true. So we had an issue where it wasn't really doing what it was supposed to. And I put this return true in the wrong spot. We want it here, return true. The logic for determining whether or not to gray out GIF wasn't really working. So that's why we're doing that. And then we want to go ahead and create a new function called disable GIF. So disable GIF like so equal to an arrow function that returns a Boolean. And again, we're going to do something very similar because disabling the GIF wasn't really working the way that I wanted to. So if state.post.current post images.length is greater than 0. Okay. And this is going to get a little bit ugly. So let's do this at least. And let's do this. Or our state.post.current reply images.length is greater than 0, or our state.post.current post and state.post.current post.images.length are greater than 0, or our state.post.current reply and state.post.current reply images.length is greater than 0. So if all of that, then we will return true, otherwise return false. And I typoed to current post images. So now this will also check for post and reply, because before we were just looking at post. So now if we scroll down to where our GIF is on line about 110, so here we have our GIF. So now what we'll go ahead and do is, instead of saying state.currentPost.yada yada yada question mark, what we'll go ahead and do is we'll say disable GIF question mark. And then we'll go ahead and either enable it or disable it. And then we're going to go down, and this is going to get a little bit messy. We're going to go down a couple lines to the poll SVG, and we're going to wrap this. We're going to wrap this inside of curly braces. And this is why we added the type, because some of them have things and some of them don't. So we're going to say type. The type is equal to post. We're going to go ahead and show the current poll. Then we're going to do the same thing to our schedule. So schedule, and this again is more or less for the individual aspect that we're going to be getting into in the next episode. So here, type equal to, and we're going to say post and that, and then we'll go ahead and display that. And now we need to go ahead and include that type post. So let's go ahead and save that, and this is going to break. So let's go back into the feed post creator. Inside of feed post creator, we can see that this is broken. So we're going to go ahead and say type is equal to post, and that should fix that. We also need to go into our create reply bottom. We also need to go ahead and inside of create reply bottom, we're going to go ahead and set up an interface, and here we're going to have create reply bottom props. And this is kind of going to do some prop drilling, unfortunately. Type string, and inside here, let's go ahead and bring this in. So we'll go ahead and say create reply bottom props. Go ahead and break this apart. So then we'll go ahead and say type. Okay. So now once we get that, we're going to go down here to about line 50, and we're going to check to see if type is not equal to reply. Then we'll dispatch update create reply, and this needs to be a string actually. Whoopsie daisies. Then we're going to go ahead and go down to about line 65. So to this dispatch, and we're going to do the same thing. So if type is not equal to reply. I don't remember why we need this, but I know that there's a reasoning behind it that we'll get to eventually. And we'll go down to our create button cluster like so, and we'll go ahead and say type is equal to type. Now there's just one last thing that we need to go and do. Let's go into our create reply component, and we're going to go ahead and pass in the type here. So here type is going to be post. It doesn't make any sense, but it is what it is. Type equal to post. This is all basically to set up for next episode. So that should do everything here. Let's go ahead and delete this, go ahead and save that. And I might do some cleanup in between episodes because there's a lot of classes that you saw that were pretty gross. But let's hop into our application one last time just to make sure we can go ahead and create a post still and everything. So let's refresh just to make sure it's looking okay. Views are still popping up. We should still be able to make a post. I need to debug why this is still slow. Trying to make a post. We can try to go ahead and add like a GIF. Let's just say, sure. The GIF still pops up. And actually, let's go ahead and add the GIF again. And you can see that it does this. I'm not sure if this is working properly. I might need to double check the CSS for that, because I think this should be also grayed out, so I might have messed something up here. We might need to check the CSS, but I think you should still be able to click on this to change the GIF. Yeah, so maybe it's just because it is what it is, but you can't add any more. You can delete this. We can go ahead and maybe add an image. Well, we make the post, it pops up. So everything looks pretty good. If we try to create a reply, let's make sure this pops up. Oh, we might need to, okay, I didn't think about this. I'm going to have to put that on the backlog. So creating a post might not be perfect right now, just because of the fact that whenever you click on this, we need to stop propagation, but I'll put that on the backlog. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you all for stopping by. If you did enjoy, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. These episodes took a really long time to produce just because there's a lot of work involved in them. But anyway, guys, I appreciate you all for watching. If you want to watch from the start, there is a playlist in the description down below. But have a great day, everybody. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out. Have a great one.